Welcome back to Arior's Night. After following the classic Tetris scene on and off for the past few years, I decided to attend the Classic Tetris World Championship live to see if this year's competition would live up to all of the hype, and not to give spoilers or anything, but it was actually kind of insane. I think my brain is officially fried to the point where I count Tetrises instead of sheep when I fall asleep at night. At its core, Classic Tetris is a straightforward game. You stack the blocks on top of each other at increasing speeds to score the most points possible until you reach the top of the screen. This simplicity makes Tetris easy to follow on a conceptual level, which is especially great for newcomers to learn about the game in a relatively short amount of time. There's no lengthy rulebook to read or complex game mechanics to memorize. There's just colorful blocks falling down on a black screen and the ever-present fear of topping out. Now, I'm not an expert on Tetris by any means. At most, I'd consider myself a slightly above average player, so I'll save the gameplay analysis for the pros. But as a longtime reviewer of everything that exists in life, I'm good at seeing if things pass the vibe check, so let me tell you what makes ctwc and the classic Tetris scene so special in my opinion. When the competition officially began on Saturday, I was immediately overwhelmed with how many matches were going on. All three brackets, gold, silver, and bronze, were occurring at the same time, and the main stage alone had 4 matches playing at all times as they whittled down the top 48 to the top 16, and eventually to the top 1 and 2. It was a very good problem to have, seeing all the amazing gameplay and the players competing at all times of the day. But the amount of matches were actually quite a lot for me to take in all at once. I would start by watching one match for a few seconds, then immediately hop over to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next, until my eyes got tired of trying to watch everyone simultaneously, and I decided then that it was better to watch one player continuously until something else happened on another screen. It was really thanks to the commentators and the rest of the audience that I could keep track of the other games, since their reactions allowed me to catch an epic chase down or last second adjustment just in the nick of time. With their casual max outs and kill screen plays, these players made Tetris look so easy that I was crying a little bit on the inside. I like to think that Tetris makes everyone a little delusional because you watch a few seconds of some god tier level gameplay and then you think to yourself, I could probably do that, right? So then you try it out for yourself, and then you realize that you can not in fact do that. But by then, you've already invested hours of your life into the silly little block game, and you can't escape. There is no escape. So someone, if you're listening to this video, please help me get out of Tetris mediocrity. I am begging you. I have not gotten a personal best in what feels like forever. And by forever, I mean at least a few years at this point. But having played the game before, it really made me enjoy the competition so much more because I knew how difficult it was for these players to get to this level of skill, whether that be switching to a new playstyle to remain competitive, or even just grinding out games at insane speeds for days on end just to become more consistent at the game. That's why whenever there was a close match or even a 2-0 situation, I always secretly hoped that they would be taken to a decider just so that I would be able to enjoy the natural tension of the game and watch some really good Tetris for just a little bit longer. I'm sure this line of thinking is stressful for the players themselves who actually have to put themselves through the pressure of performing well every single time, but as a viewer and as someone who enjoys watching Tetris, I think everyone wins when the players get to showcase everything they are capable of in a matchup. In fact, there is nothing greater than seeing all the individual storylines come together at the end of a tournament and watching 2 amazing players go head-to-head, survive misdrops and unwanted pieces at insane speeds, and stay almost evenly matched until the very end. I was hooked into seeing the outcome and the live energy of the crowd, the tension of the game, and the inherent stress that I felt for all these players felt like adrenaline pumping through my veins. Needless to say, watching Tetris in person was so much better than watching it online when you only had chat in a lonely room to share the hype with. Looking around the venue, I could physically see as the crowd grew larger and larger over the course of the competition, and all the good seats were taken. The amount of hype in the room as people commentated on the matches before them and celebrated max outs was addicting, and I really felt like I was a part of a larger community where everyone around me was having a good time. Moving beyond the game itself, the community is my favorite part of ctwc and the classic Tetris scene. Walking around the gaming expo, I immediately recognized a lot of the players and community members from seeing them around chatting and playing with each other online. And instead of falling into the celebrity culture trap that I've seen arise in a lot of other online spaces, it felt nice to see everyone interacting with each other as normal, down-to-earth people who just wanted to share their passion for Tetris with each other. I really appreciated how friendly and approachable people were for photos and autographs and general conversation, regardless of how well known they were in the community. And it was really wholesome to see the players themselves celebrating the accomplishments of their fellow players during and after every single match. Overall, it was really refreshing to see this level of sportsmanship from the younger generation of players, and I really hope that the classic Tetris community will continue to maintain this kind momentum in the future as it starts to become more and more mainstream. So if you're ever thinking about visiting ctwc or any other Tetris competition in person and have the means and time to do it, I would highly recommend it for the reasons mentioned in this video and more. It's a great experience worth investing in, especially if you've been following the scene remotely for quite some time, and there's probably a lot more that I could talk about regarding this community and the tournament experience, but I'll leave it here for now. One last thing before we go, I'd like to give a shout out to the people who recognized me at ctwc. I really wasn't expecting to be perceived all that much, especially since I'm relatively unknown compared to everyone else at the competition, but I really appreciated the small interactions and conversations that I had with everyone, and it really made my time at ctwc all the more special, and I hope you enjoyed the experience too. So whether or not you were at ctwc in person or online this year, let me know what you thought about the competition in the comment section below. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts about the larger things happening in the Tetris scene as a whole, or even what you thought about the new venue and live stream choices that they were making this year. With that said, this has been Arior's Night, and wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is for you, I hope you have a good one, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.